It was one of the most high-profile murder cases in Oregon history. The story of Diane Downs and the events surrounding the shooting of her 3 children, one of them fatally.
That was in 1983. As we told you last night, investigators were troubled by Downs' own account of the night in question. Well, fast forward to 1984. By now, Downs had acquired a perverse celebrity. In fact, she was often referred to as Princess Di, always maintaining her innocence, always maintaining that some bushy-haired stranger had shot her and her 3 children. KEZI 9 News reporter Sean Choppy picks up the story with the nuts and bolts of her trial.
Prosecuting attorney Fred Hughey would paint a picture of a woman obsessed with a married man who didn't want to have kids and who wouldn't see her when children were around.
We're going to try and push this thing to a fact-finding as quickly as possible, and you'll see then that there's nothing there.
Doctors took the stand and told stories of a woman who showed up to the hospital with a dead daughter and 2 other kids clinging to life, yet who shed nary a tear. Jurors were taken to the scene of the crime. A model of the car was brought in, the blood splatters on the outside of the car showing Downs shot Cheryl outside of the car.
We saw pictures of this so-called spatter. It's drops. When they took the kids, they took Chris and Cher out of the driver's side of the car, and it's blood droplets.
The children's bloody clothes were shown, but the most dramatic and probably most damning evidence came when Christy Downs, now 8 years old, took the stand.
Downs' own daughter testified against her. Christy Downs was asked by prosecutor Fred Hughey, "Do you know who shot Cheryl?" Christy said quietly, "Yes." The prosecutor struggled to keep his own composure. "Who?" The young girl sobbed, "My mom."
The trial would last 6 weeks, and then on June 17th, the verdict came in.
The moment of truth came early Sunday morning at 12:45. A jury of 9 women and 3 men found Downs guilty of 2 counts of attempted murder and 2 counts of assault the night before.
Between the time of the verdict and the sentencing, Downs gave birth to a baby girl, Amy, who was put up for adoption. Downs received a life sentence. There was no death sentence at the time, and in 1987 she escaped from the Oregon Women's Correctional Center. She was moved to a prison in New Jersey, and then eventually moved back to the West Coast to a California prison she calls home today. She still maintains she's innocent, though her story has changed over the years, from the bushy-haired stranger to 2 men in ski masks, to the most recent tale that involved a phone call that lured her to the road to pick up evidence for a supposed FBI boyfriend she had at the time.
Was there a time when I had doubts? Yes, there was. The first night, as a matter of fact, I had doubts. Diane had been shot in the left arm, and she's right-handed, and I made the comment to the police department there that night. It looks to me like Diane did it, because the children have been shot in the chest, and Diane has only been shot in the arm. And I says, it really looks like she did it.
Christy and Danny, meanwhile, like Amy, were adopted. Their new father, Fred Hughey, the very same man that put their mother in jail for life.
That just hit my cast.
Sean Choppy, KEZI 9 News.
Diane Downs is being held at the Valley Prison for Women in Chowchilla, California. She was denied parole in December 2008, which means that she's eligible to request it again this year. If she ever is granted parole, her release will be delayed 14 months. That's because she received additional punishment for the prison escape in 1987.